Hello and welcome back. This is your host Harshit Sinha. Continuing from my previous presentation, I'm going to deliver on interesting topic sustainable ESG reporting. In today's rapidly evolving business scenario, the concept of environment, social and governance reporting has emerged as a powerful catalyst for driving sustainable practice and responsible decision making. ESG reporting is a comprehensive framework that encompasses a wide range of factors from environmental stewardship and social responsibility to ethical governance practice. By embracing this holistic approach, companies cannot only imagine, mitigate risk, and capitalize on emerging opportunities but also contribute to creating a more sustainable and equitable world for generations to come. Thus, today, sustainable and ESG reporting have become increasingly important for business in today's world. As stakeholder demands greater transparency and accountability, companies are recognizing the needs to measure, monitor, and disclose their performance on the various non-financial metrics beyond just financial indicators. By openly sharing data and insight on the critical areas, companies can build trust with the stakeholder, attract socially conscious investors, and position themselves as a responsible corporate citizen. This transparency not only fosters credibility but also enables stakeholders to make informed decisions based on the comprehensive understanding of a company's environmental, social, governance performance. Thus, today, by embracing this holistic approach, companies cannot only mitigate this risk and capitalize on emerging opportunities but also contribute to creating a more sustainable and equitable world for generations to come. While ESG reporting has traditionally been voluntary, an increasing number of countries and stock exchange are making it mandatory requirement for listed companies. For instance, the European Union has established the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directives, which will require large companies to report on their environmental social impact starting in 2024. Similarly, the Securities and Exchange Board of India (SEBI) has made it mandatory for all listed companies to disclose ESG information using its principle to assess the compliance with the ESG norm from 2023 onwards. This regulatory initiative underscores the growing recognition of the importance of ESG reporting in promoting responsible business practice and driving sustainable development. By adhering to these guidelines, companies can not only mitigate legal and financial risk but also demonstrate their commitment to responsible business practice by measuring and monitoring various operational metrics in driving operational efficiency and the cost saving, positioning themselves as a leader in the transition to more sustainable future. Moreover, ESG reporting fosters stakeholder engagement and collaboration, providing a platform for companies to engage with the various stakeholders, including employees, local communities, non-governmental organizations, and policymakers. By sharing their ESG performance, companies can foster dialogue, collaboration, and partnership to address shared challenges and drive positive changes, leading to new insight, innovation solution, and strengthen the relationship with the key stakeholder. Ultimately, sustainable ESG reporting is not just a compliance exercise but a strategic imperative for a long-term business success. By embracing this practice, companies can align themselves with globally recognized framework and goals such as United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and the Paris Agreement on climate change, demonstrating their commitment to these global initiatives and contributing to the broader efforts of creating a more sustainable world. As we navigate the complexity of the 21st century, sustainable ESG reporting has emerged as a powerful tool for driving positive change. However, it becomes utmost necessary to understand whether ESG reporting and sustainable reporting are two different, alike, or have a same linkage with the existing different reporting framework that have plunged a series of pitfalls worldwide. Let us move further to the presentation to understand all these complexities and dilemmas. This slide discusses the rise of demand for sustainability disclosure. In today's business world, companies are facing growing demand to be transparent about their environmental, social, governance practice. Consumer, investor, regulators, and other stakeholders are increasingly scrutinizing organization sustainability performance, fueling the rise of ESG reporting as a crucial tool to corporate accountability. Thus, today, ESG reporting involves disclosing a company impact and progress across various non financial metrics related to the environmental stewardship, largely through CDP. Environmental data allows investors to better understand and manage climate related risks and opportunity. The social responsibility largely deals with the country specific set criteria, as in India it is CSR rule by Ministry of Corporate Affairs and Corporate Governance, largely evaluated through research by Morgan and Stanley Capital International (INCA), which indicates that the company with a strong corporate governance practice tends to have a higher profitability and lower risk of financial controversy. To this, India MCA has introduced 9 principles of responsible business reporting, formulating national guidelines on responsible business conduct. These examples grapples with the pressing challenges such as climate change, social inequality, and corporate misconduct. ESG sustainability reporting is rapidly becoming a new standard for the corporate transparency and accountability. By embracing these practices, companies can not only mitigate risk and capitalize on emerging opportunities, but also contribute to creating a more sustainable and equitable world for generations to come. So, by openly sharing data and insight on these critical areas, companies can build trust and stakeholders attract socially conscious investors and position themselves as a responsible corporate citizen. Thus, ESG reporting allows companies to communicate their sustainable efforts transparently and comprehensively, enabling stakeholders to make more informed decisions as highlighted by the Sustainable Accounting Standard Board (SASB). While ESG reporting has traditionally been voluntary, an increasing number of countries and the stock exchange make it mandatory requirement for listed companies. In India, SEBI had made it mandatory for all listed companies to disclose ESG information using principle to assess compliance with ESG norm in 2012 and introduced disclosure of major elements of the business responsibility and sustainability report BARSR in 2023, likely to be implemented by 2025. Such initiatives by SEBI and MCA are already embracing the ESG reporting as a strategic imperative and recognize that sustainability is not just a buzzword but a fundamental imperative for long-term business success in India. By transparently disclosing their ESG performance, SEBI and MCA are demonstrating their commitment to responsible business practice, building trust with the stakeholders, positioning themselves as a leader in the transition to a more sustainable future of our country. In this slide, we will discuss sustainability with ESG reporting. Linking sustainability with the ESG reporting is in some or the other way linked together or are interchangeably or more are similar or may be different. We explain these terminology under the different setting, making it significant to business world. ESG and sustainability are not the same, as ESG is a non-financial reporting framework that covers several aspects of sustainability, whereas sustainability is about the social, economic, and environmental factor that a company negatively impact and can, in turn, create a positive impact through change to the way the company operates. Sustainability is about assessing the impact associated with the action to then create decision, policies, and procedure to reduce those impacts over the time. Whereas ESG is more about the accounting for what has happened and the performance of the company. It's not a tool that is used to drive innovation or change. For example, ESG is a specific tool used to measure the performance of the company, while sustainability is a broad principle that encompasses a range of responsible business practice. ESG matrices are used to evaluate your performance in a specific area such as carbon emission, diversity and inclusion, and executive pay. On the other hand, sustainability covers a range of topics such as supply chain management, stakeholder engagement, and community development. Thus, today, corporate sustainability relates to a strategy whereby a business delivers its goods and services in a manner that is both profitable for itself and responsible towards the environment and society, both in its use of a natural, human, and social capital and its impact on them. The exponential rise in demand for decision use ESG and sustainability information is shifting corporate sustainability reporting in direction of standardized and increasingly mandatory exercise. One must understand that sustainability and ESG reporting share several similarities as they both aims to promote responsible and transparent business practice that consider the long-term impact on the environment, society, stakeholder. Besides, both takes a comprehensive view of a company's performance extending beyond just financial metrics. They consider the triple bottom line of environment, social, and economic factors. Sustainability and ESG reporting are interestingly linked, with ESG reporting serving as a means to measure and communicate companies' sustainability performance by reporting on environment impact, social initiatives, and governance practice. Companies demonstrate their commitment to sustainability and accountability to stakeholders. While sustainability and ESG reporting share many similarities, it is important to note that ESG reporting often has a strong emphasis on investor relevant information and risk management, while sustainability reporting may take a broader stakeholder-centric approach. However, the two concepts are closely intertwined and aim to promote responsible, sustainable business practice. Overall, it seems that there is a relation between sustainability and ESG reporting lies in a symbiotic exchange of information and action. Sustainability is guiding principle that inform company's strategic direction, operational direction, and stakeholders engagement efforts. ESG reporting in turn serve as a mechanism for the company to articulate their sustainability objective, track progress, and demonstrate the accountability to stakeholders. Let us now look into the detail of these terms. Well, this slide describes the comparative analysis between sustainable reporting and ESG reporting, highlighting their differences across five key aspects. Scope: sustainable reporting encompasses a wide range of topics extending beyond ESG factor to include economic consideration, providing a broader perspective. In contrast, ESG reporting especially focuses on the three ESG factors, often with an emphasis on the factor relevant to investors and the financial analysis, adopting a narrow approach. Now we look the focus. The sustainable reporting takes a holistic approach to measuring the overall impact of an organization activity on society and the environment. The ESG reporting, on the other hand, is more targeted, concentrating on the specific issue that directly impact the businesses and the financial health, primarily catering to the investors. The objectives makes a difference that sustainability reporting aims to provide a complete picture of a company's efforts to achieve sustainable development goal and societal responsibility. ESG reporting, however, provides a framework for investors to assess the company impacts on society and environment, its corporate governance practice that may impact long-term value creation, risk management, and the stakeholder trust. Looking the purpose, the sustainability reporting serves as a communication tool informing stakeholders about the company's sustainability efforts and the goal. In contrast, ESG reporting is an investment decision-making tool helping investors assess a company's ESG performance and potential risks. While metrics, sustainability reporting is more comprehensive and includes social metrics like employees diversity, community engagement, and product safety, alongside environmental metrics like carbon footprint and water usage, etc. ESG reporting primarily focuses on the environmental and social metrics with the financial focus such as greenhouse gas emission, employee turnover, and the broad diversity. In summary, while both sustainable reporting and ESG reporting addresses environmental and social and governance factors, sustainable reporting adopts a broader and more holistic approach aimed at informing stakeholders about the company's overall sustainability efforts and societal responsibility. In contrast, ESG reporting is more narrowly focused on the specific ESG factors relevant to investors and the financial analysis, providing a framework for assessing a company's long-term value creation, risk management, and stakeholder trust. Now, continuing from the previous slides, we will talk about the regulation. Sustainable reporting is less regulated with some voluntary framework like the Global Reporting Initiative, that is GRI, in place. In contrast, ESG reporting is becoming increasingly regulated with the initiatives like EU Corporate Sustainable Reporting Directive mandating sustainability reporting for certain companies. Sustainable reporting is generally volunteer, although some regions like European Union have mandatory sustainability reporting requirements. In contrast, ESG reporting is increasingly regulated with a growing requirement for the ESG disclosure by the companies and investors. Let us see about the target audience. Sustainable reporting caters to a broad range of stakeholders including investors, customers, employees, regulators, and general public who are interested in understanding the overall sustainability performance and impact of the organization. While ESG reporting, on the other hand, primarily target investors, financial analysts, and stakeholders seeking specific information about companies' ESG practice and performance. Looking at the reporting, sustainable reporting covers ESG reporting but also look at how a company impacts the world around it. It may follow various frameworks like GRI, the Sustainability Accounting Standards Board, or the International Integrated Reporting Council. ESG reporting, however, focuses on the compliance with the regulation of and industry standards, typically aligned with the framework like GRI, SASB, or Task Force on the Climate-Related Financial Disclosure. Looking the reporting standard, both sustainable reporting and the ESG reporting may follow standards and framework like GRI, SASB, or IIRC. However, ESG reporting may also align with the TCFD framework, which specifically addresses climate-related financial disclosure. Overall, both sustainable reporting and ESG reporting aims to promote transparency and accountability in environment, social, governance aspect. They differ in their regulatory landscape, target audience, reporting scope, and the specific frameworks and standards they align. ESG reporting is more focused on the compliance with the regulations and industry standards, catering primarily to investors and the financial stakeholders, while sustainable reporting takes a broader perspective, encompassing the organization's overall sustainable performance and impact on the various stakeholders group. Now we shall discuss the key component of ESG reporting. First, we will take a conventional. First is environmental. This aspect focuses on how an organization operates as a stewardship of the environment. It covers sustainability issues such as greenhouse gas emission, loss of biodiversity, carbon emission, and pollution. Climate change. Reporting on the greenhouse gas emission, energy consumption, renewable energy usage, and climate-related risks and opportunities. Next is resource efficiency. Includes water usage, waste management, and efforts to minimize environmental impact and promote sustainable resource management. Biodiversity. Reporting on the efforts to protect biodiversity, prevent habitat destruction, and promote conservation initiatives. Pollution and emission. Disclosing information on air and water pollution, waste generation, and measures take to reduce the environmental pollution. And last but not the least is the environmental compliance, ensuring compliance with environmental regulation and standards. The social component deals with the impact the organization has on the people, culture, and communities. It explores areas like diversity, inclusivity, human rights, and supply chain. Let us take human rights. Reporting on the human rights policy, practice, and impact throughout the supply chain, including labor rights, fair wage, and working condition. Next is labor practice, disclosing information on the employee health and safety, diversity and inclusion initiative, labor standards, compliance and employee training and development. Next is community engagement, reporting on the community investment, philanthropy and initiatives aimed at the supporting local communities and stakeholders. Other is customer relation, including customer satisfaction, data privacy, product safety and responsible marketing practice. Social impact, assessing the social impact of the business activity on stakeholders, including the vulnerable and marginalized groups. Other conventional element is governance. This refers to how organization is directed to control topic under the governance include executive compensation, board management practice and data security and fraud prevention. Let us see board structure, reporting on the board composition, independence, diversity and effectiveness as well as the separation of CEO and the chair roles. Next is executive compensation, disclosing executive pay structure, incentive scheme and alignment with the long-term sustainable performance. Ethical business practice, reporting on anti-corruption measures, ethical conduct, policies and efforts to promote transparency and accountability. Risk management, assessing the governance structure related to risk oversight, internal control and mechanism for identifying the managing ESG related risk. Stakeholder engagement, including the mechanism for engaging the stakeholders, employee, customers, suppliers and other stakeholders to address the ESG issues. One must note that the ESG report system largely depends upon the individual countries' industrial business setup in the corporate world governed by the concerned government authorities and industrial associations, largely measuring the yardstick of the performance and the stock market. Here I want to show our country's example approach to design guideline on ESG disclosure using some of the parameters developed by the Bombay Stock Exchange. The link is provided below in the reference list. In this slide now, we will discuss additional key components of ESG reporting. First is materiality assessment. Identifying material ESG issue specific to the company's industries, operation and stakeholders is crucial. Materiality assessment ensured that the reporting focus on the issue that are more relevant and impactful to organization and its stakeholder. It should be noted that material assessment is not by engaging stakeholder, but there is no one set of way conducting it. Second is related to the data collection and matrices. Collecting accurate and reliable data is essential for ESG reporting. Matrices should be well defined, consistent and measurable, enabling meaningful comparison and trend analysis. Companies can leverage industry standards and frameworks such as the Global Reporting Initiative, that is GRI, or the Sustainable Accounting Standard Board SASB to guide their data collection process. Third is target and goals. Setting ambitious target and goal helps drive continuous improvement in ESG performance. These targets should be aligned with the company's overall strategic objective and incorporate the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal when applicable. Fourth is reporting and transparency. Companies should prepare comprehensive ESG report that provides clear, concise and balanced information to stakeholders. Reporting framework like Global Reporting Initiative or the Task Force on the Climate Related Financial Disclosure, that is TCFD, can guide report structure and content. Next is corporate ESG policy. Framing corporate ESG policy is a strategic imperative for modern organizations. These policy outline a company's commitment to sustainable practice, ethical conduct, and responsible governance. Effective corporate ESG policy should align with organization values, address material risk, opportunities, promote transparency and accountability, and be competitive to international market. Apart from conventional approach, that is environmental stewardship, social responsibility including diversity, equity and inclusion, and robust governance structure, the ESG policy should be integrated into the core business operation, decision-making process, and performance evaluation framework to drive meaningful change and create a long-term value for stakeholder and society competitive domestic international market business standards. Now that we have talked about the framing the corporate ESG policy, we must explore what should be the company's core policy for ESG. An ESG strategy cannot be separated from the broader organizational strategy. The further development of an ESG strategy effective means integration of sustainability element into the company's core strategy. As environmental, social and governance issues become increasingly important to investors, employees, customers and community, companies are recognizing that strong ESG policy and practice are critical for long-term business success. Rather than treating ESG as a siloed initiative, leading organizations are making its core part of their overall cooperative strategy accountability. Let us see one by one. First is board leadership and oversight. Effective ESG integration starts at the top of the board direction and executive leadership. Companies should have a clear, broad oversight and accountability for ESG within certain directors and committee responsible for reviewing ESG risk strategy and performance matrices. The full board should be kept appraised for material ESG issue. Next is policies and initiatives. Beyond just minimizing negative impact, companies should strive to create positive value for society and the environmental through innovative product or services offering operational process, partnership and investment. Internal policy on issues like human rights, ethical supply chain, employee well-being, diversity and inclusion, environmental stewardship and community engagement help uphold ESG community. Next is strategic alignment. ESG consideration need to be woven into the fabric of a company's overall vision, mission, value and strategic plan. ESG goals should align with and support the core business strategy, product innovation, operational policies and stakeholder engagement. The most impactful ESG program addresses issues that are highly relevant and material to the company's specific industries and activities. Next, emphasis on material issue. With many potential ESG issues to consider, company needs to take a risk-based approach to prioritize their most material ESG factors based on their specific circumstances. Issues deemed material are those that could be sustainably impact the company's business performance and ability to create long-term value. Materiality assessment can guide ESG strategy and reporting. Next is metric goals and incentives. Companies should set specific, measurable and time-bound goals for priority ESG topics and track their performance using relevant quantitative, qualitative matrices. ESG target can be linked to executive compensation to drive accountability. Disclosing ESG data through sustainable report and framework like GRE, SASB and TCFD provides a transparency. Next is monitoring and continuous improvement. Comprehensive monitoring, auditing and stakeholder engagement mechanism allow companies to evaluate the effectiveness of their ESG management approach over time. Based on their findings, organizations can continuously recalibrate their material issue, innovate new solutions, strengthen the governance and control, and raise the ambitious level of their goal. By making ESG a core part of leadership strategy, operation, and accountability system, companies can effectively manage risk, capitalize on opportunity to create enduring value for their business and society. Well, after discussing the linkage between ESG reporting and sustainability, this slide will elaborate on 10 major benefits of sustainable ESG reporting, which most of the clients doesn't have any idea regarding this. First is investor demand for informed decision. The rise of sustainable investing necessitates the clear ESG reporting. Investors are increasingly integrating environmental, social, and governance factors along the traditional financial matrices, making investment choice. Standardized ESG reporting allow to apple comparison between the companies, reducing information asymmetric and enabling investors to identify ESG investment with a greater confidence. Second is transparency and accountability for business. Standardized ESG reporting fosters transparency by encouraging companies to openly disclose their environmental and social impact. This increased transparency can hold companies accountable for their action and promote responsible business and practice across the boards. Third is proactive risk management. ESG factor can pose significant financial risks to a company. Standardized reporting framework help companies proactively identify, assess, and manage these environmental, social, and governance risks more effectively, potentially avoiding costly problems down to the line. Next is enhanced stakeholder engagement. ESG reporting can be a powerful tool for communication with the stakeholder who have an interest in a company's operation. This includes customers, employees, and the local community. Standardized reporting ensures all stakeholders receive consistent and comparable information, fostering trust and a better understanding. Next is driving sustainability development. Standardized ESG reporting play a crucial role in promoting sustainable development, encouraging companies to consider the environmental and the social impact for their decision. It can lead to a more sustainable future for all. This incentives companies to operate it in a way that minimize negative environmental and social externalities. Next is enhance investor confidence. Investors are increasingly integrating ESG factor into their investment decision. By adopting sustainable ESG reporting standard, companies can enhance investor confidence by demonstrating their commitment to sustainability and providing transparent information on their ESG performance. Next, market differentiation and competitive advantage. Companies that prioritize sustainability can gain a competitive advantage by differentiating themselves in a market. Sustainable ESG reporting standards enable organizations to showcase their sustainable efforts, attract environmentally and socially conscious consumers, and strengthen their brand reputation. Next is contribution to the global sustainability goal. ESG reporting standard helps companies align their strategies and operation with global sustainability development goals and the Paris Agreement on the climate change. By reporting on their contribution to sustainable development, companies can drive positive social, environmental, and economic impact. Next is regulatory compliance and legal requirement. Many countries in the region are introducing regulation that mandates ESG reporting. Adhering to standardized ESG framework ensures compliance with the legal requirements and minimize reputational and legal risks. Thus, today, in a fast-growing regulatory environment, ESG reporting has become key for the business to ensure compliance with the evolving sustainability reporting regulation. By adhering these standards, companies demonstrate their commitment to responsible practice and meet the legal requirement. Last but not the least is related to supportive and as per the market demand. Businesses that invest in understanding and measuring the impact of sustainability will enjoy competitive advantage including enhanced reputation, access to new market and operational efficiency. Many business to business relationship now requires ESG information. By adopting standardized reporting, companies can meet partner expectation, strengthen relationship, and enhance the business collaboration. There are many ways to build sustainability reporting into your corporate social responsibility program. Whether by making use of established sustainable reporting framework including sustainability performance as a part of your overall performance disclosure, by using guidelines such as those created by the Value Reporting Foundation, or making use of ranking tools such as the drhs Sustainability Index. Well, we selected a dozen that are widely applicable to India. The table presents a comparative view of the various frameworks organization initiatives related to sustainability reporting, ESG disclosure, responsible investment practice, and social responsibility guidance. It allows for the comparative analysis across several aspects, including their establishment year, organizational type, participation nature, purpose, scope, significance, global reach, adoption level, and the specific standard or guidelines they offer. We are not doing marketing of any individual framework, but providing valuable information. A critical analysis is essential to understand the strengths, limitation, and the potential area for improvement within this landscape. The first we selected is the volunteer versus mandatory nature. A significant number of framework and initiatives listed in the table are voluntary, relying on the willingness of uh, organization and stakeholder to adopt and implement them. While this approach promotes flexibility and stakeholder engagement, it can also lead to inconsistency in reporting practice, limited comparability, and potentially greenwashing concern. As ESG sustainability consideration become more mainstream and integral to the decision-making process, there is a need for a greater standardization and mandatory reporting requirement to ensure transparency, accountability, and comparability across the organization sector. The second we take it is the scope and focus. The table highlight a diversified range of framework and initiative, each with its specific focus areas such as sustainability reporting, ESG disclosure, climate-related financial risk, responsible investment, or social responsibility guidance. While these diversity allow for tailored approach to address specific needs, it may also contribute to fragmentation and potential overlap or gap in reporting practice. A more coordinated and integrated approach could streamline reporting process and enhance the overall coherence and effectiveness of these framework. The third is related to the geographical representation and adaptation. The table provides information on the registered members countries and the approximate numbers of industry or company registered for each framework or initiative. However, it does not delve into the nuance of the geographical representation and adaptation levels across different region and sector. A more granular analysis of adoption pattern could reveal potential bias or imbalances in representation, highlighting the need for greater inclusive and localized adaptation to ensure relevance and applicable across diversified contexts. Next is related to stakeholder engagement and materiality. While many of the framework in initiative mentioned emphasis stakeholder engagement and materiality assessment process, the table does not provide specific detail on the mechanism and practice employed to ensure effective stakeholder involvement and determine the material issue. Robust stakeholder engagement and materiality assessment process are crucial for ensuring the relevance and credibility and impact of these framework and initiatives. Next is related to the performance measurement and the impact assessment. The table focuses primarily on the characteristic and adaptation level of the frameworks and initiative but does not directly address their effectiveness in driving actual sustainability, performance improvement, or measuring their impact. Incorporating performance measurement and impact assessment mechanism could enhance the accountability and continuous improvement of these frameworks, ensuring they achieve their intent and outcome. Next is related to the integration and alignment. While the table presents a diverse range of framework and initiative, it does not explicitly address the level of integration and alignment among them. Greater integration and alignment could help streamline reporting process, reduce redundancy, and enhance the comparability and consistent across different frameworks. Collaboration and harmonious efforts among these entities could be beneficial in creating a more cohesive and coordinated approach to sustainability reporting and ESG disclosure. Next is related to the regulatory landscape and policy implication. The table does not provide insight into the evolving regulatory landscape and policy implications surrounding sustainability reporting and ESG disclosure. As regulatory bodies and the governments increasingly recognize the importance of these issues, there may be shift toward the mandatory reporting requirement or the adoption of the specific framework. Understanding the interplay between these voluntary initiatives and regulatory development could inform more effective policy decision and ensure alignment with the broader sustainability goal. Next is related to data availability and transparency. While the table provides an overview of the framework and initiative, it does not delve into the availability of the transparency of the data and information reported through these mechanisms. Ensuring access to high quality, inconsistent, and transparent data is crucial for stakeholders to make informed decisions and effectively assess the sustainability and ESG performance. Next is the capacity building and resource allocation. The successful implementation and adoption of these frameworks and initiatives may require significant capacity building efforts, particularly for the organization or region with the limited resources or expertise in sustainable reporting and ESG disclosure. Addressing capacity gaps and providing adequate resource could be essential for ensuring the widespread and effective adoption of these frameworks. Last but not least is related to the continuous improvement and adaptability. Sustainability challenges evolve as a stakeholder expectations change. The framework and initiative highlighted in the table must remain adaptable and open to continuous improvement. Regular review, updates, and stakeholder consultation could help ensure these fundamentals remains relevant, aligned with the best practices, and responsive to the emerging sustainability trends and the priority. The information in the table is taken from the internet search, and whatever is missing is not provided by each organization or each framework in the openly or transparent system as required. There are few most common misconceptions and problematic practice among the companies when dealing with the management of ESG issue. The first is excessive focus on rating. A company approach that focuses exclusively on improving the company's rating is at risk for allocating more resources to checking box instead of developing a strategy that is tailored to the company's unique outlook and exposure to risk. Next is treating ESG solely as a communication efforts. Communication can help the company amplify its messaging, but they cannot substitute for a robust management system that addresses the material risks. Next is related to lack of board and the management oversight. The company's ESG management strategy should be positioned as a core part of the company's vision and value. The involvement of the board and senior management is a key strategy. Next is disconnect from business strategy. An ESG strategy that does not consider the company's strategy objectives and does not inform the main corporate strategy fails to serve its purpose. Next is compliance-oriented approach. An approach of ESG management focused on the compliance with rules and regulation may appear as a reactive and indicative reluctance to go above and beyond the minimum requirement. Next is inconsistency across the firm. Lack of company-wide strategy and coordination leaves significant gap in company's ESG management program with potential exposure to risk. Next is lack of assessment and monitoring. Lack of effective monitoring of ESG performance impedes the company's ability to make progress, receive full credit for its ongoing initiative through reporting. Last is lack of ESG expertise on training. As per PwC report, only 29% of the organization in the global survey are providing ESG training, and there is a lack of internal ESG skill is hindering process. Now we shall look the pitfalls and the in practices. The first is treating ESG as a cellular initiative. ESG has become a prime opportunity to take integrated strategic approach to some of the most pressing risks and opportunity facing business today. However, too many businesses still value ESG as a separate work stream. Short-term mindset, one of the most significant barriers to integrating ESG into corporate strategy is prioritizing short-term profits over managing long-term risk and opportunities. Third is greenwashing and selective disclosure. This is what I am also facing the problem. Greenwashing, selective disclosure, positive information, or failing to disclose negative information erode stakeholder trust. Next is ignoring material issues. Only about one quarter, that is 24%, as per the GIA Institute, of companies commit to validate their material ESG issue, which can lead to deficient or inappropriate ESG responses. Ineffective stakeholder engagement. Stakeholder engagement that is ad hoc, minimal, or one way undermine a company's ability to effectively identify and respond to stakeholder needs and concern. Immature data system. High quality, consistent data is needed to effectively measure and report ESG performance. But as per SP Global, 63% of the company says they can't yet quantify their ESG investment impacts. Next is insufficient resource and capabilities. Company needs adequate staffing, budget, and technology solution devoted to ESG, but over 50% says they lack sufficient resources. Next, last but not the least, is the lack of integration into core strategy. ESG must be integrated into the overall corporate strategy. As per PwC report, 69% of the company doesn't have an ESG issue integrated into the business strategy or purpose. One of the interesting findings relates to the lack of accountability has come major problem or pitfall, or has become a consistent practice in the corporate world. As per the SP Global, sharing data of highlighted or over half a dozen, 56% of the company do not have board oversight over ESG issues, and only 1 in 3 incentivize the C-suite of the manage such issue. In today's presentation, we covered an introduction to sustainability reporting and explored the similarities and differences between sustainability reporting and ESG reporting. We also cover extensively conventional and additional key components of ESG reporting. We discussed the benefits of ESG disclosure and describe how to make ESG a central part of corporate strategy and oversight. It also elaborates management of ESG issues in the companies and leveraging the various ESG measurement framework that exist globally. In our next insightful episode, we will dive into the Business Responsibility and Sustainability Report (BRSR) in context to India existing regulatory structure. This will cover executing bodies like SEBI, MCA, BSE, and various existing law and notification related to sustainability reporting requirement in India. Thank you for joining us today. Have a wonderful and stay tuned for the next week episode exploring the BRSR and India's sustainability reporting landscape. Until then, goodbye.